The Bengals have so many free agents to address other than T. Higgins this year, but are they even interested in re-signing any of them? Well, in this video, I'm going to call my shot and predict 3 players I think the Bengals will bring back. What's up, Bengals fans? John Sheeran of A to Z Sports Cincinnati here, and one of the reasons why I've been focusing so much energy on the Bengals re-signing T. Higgins and extending Jamar Chase and Trey Hendrickson is not only because they're going to have a lot of cash and cap space to do that, but also they're not going to be spending a lot of time and energy on re-signing other players on the team. Like, the number of impending free agents that this team has entering the 2025 offseason has probably gone a little bit too far under the radar, but to be quite honest with you, a lot of those names, in fact, most of those names, are not going to be back in Cincinnati next year. As it stands right now, the Bengals have 21 impending free agents set to hit the market when free agency begins in March. A couple of them are either exclusive rights free agents or restricted free agents, which means the Bengals have a lot of control over their free agency in general. The vast majority of them are unrestricted free agents, but pretty much all of them are going to be affordable to bring back if the Bengals so desire. But just looking at the notable names on this list who played the most this past year, like Mike Hilton, BJ Hill, and Von Bell, I can pretty confidently say that they're not going to be Bengals in 2025. And maybe Hilton is an exception, but that's a pretty big maybe right now. So what about the flip side? Who are the names that you can expect the Bengals to try to bring back to re-sign for the 2025 season? I think a few stand out here. Number one, I got to go with the long snapper Cal Adamitis. I think the Bengals want some continuity here with their special teams battery. Evan McPherson is not going anywhere after his down year. Ryan Rico recently re-upped for 2 more years with an extension. Cal Adamitis is set to be a restricted free agent, which means the Bengals can place a tender offer on him, but that's going to be relatively expensive considering he is a long snapper, so I would expect some type of a modest multi-year deal to keep him and Rico and McPherson together for the next couple of years. Up next, I'm going to kind of continue with the special teams theme here because while Joe Bachie is a linebacker, he's part of the defense and he's a critical depth piece there, he does play the majority of his time on various special teams units. And since the Bengals are probably going to lose Akeem Davis-Gaither, who was one of their special teams captains at linebacker last year, I think Bachie is going to be a priority to just bring back again on a very cheap, modest deal. He's not going to warrant a big contract. He's only 27 years old, but he hasn't played that much. And on top of that, he's coming off of a season-ending injury that he suffered in December. But more importantly than anything, he was brought in originally by the Bengals in 2021 during the second year of Al Golden's time here as the linebackers coach, and he played a decent amount when they suffered injuries at the linebacker position. I think he earned a lot of trust from Golden, and now that Golden is back in the picture as defensive coordinator with some guys leaving at linebacker, I think Golden is going to prioritize bringing back Bachie as a key depth piece for this position group. Now, going to the offensive side of the ball, I think Mike Gesicki has gotten a lot of attention recently because Joe Burrow name-dropped him as a priority for the team to bring back, but I'm not quite certain that he's going to be that much of a priority for the team as much as Joe Burrow may think. I do think there's going to be mutual interest in both sides reuniting for a new contract, and I think the Bengals would be interested in paying Gesicki more than they did this year, but what it's really going to come down here is Gesicki hitting the open market, seeing what he's worth, and making the decision to either take a lucrative offer from a lesser team with a lesser quarterback or try to come back to the Bengals on a lower number. So I'm not going to make any declarations on Gesicki right now, but I am going to say that running back Khalil Herbert will probably be back. And is that mainly due to the fact that the Bengals traded away their 7th round pick in the 2025 draft just to have him on the roster? Yeah, but also they only have 3 running backs under contract right now, and Zach Moss is injured and is probably going to get cut. I think if you enter the NFL draft with Herbert as your 3rd or 4th running back, you're probably in a good spot and he can compete for a roster spot when training camp comes around. So those are just some names to keep in mind as we inch closer and closer to free agency. The Bengals are going to send out offers to these players, and they're either going to accept it before free agency or they're going to try to test the market and see what they can get. But who do you think the Bengals will re-sign? Who do you think they should re-sign? Let me know in the comments below.